back, and we're going to dive right into 4 things that make coaches fail. Oh, man. I'm probably guilty of all 4 at some point in my career. I'm pretty sure I am. For me, the number one reason is because coaches are too ego involved in the matches and the playing of the kids. Living vicariously, but they don't know it. And they have their internal dialogue of if their team does better and they win matches, then that makes them a better coach and that they're more valuable in the world or what have you.
Yep.
And if the kids lose or don't improve very quickly or, don't do everything that the coach wants them to do, that somehow they're less valuable. I had to learn to put my own ego aside and really put my sole focus on doing that. But then a funny thing happens. When you start to succeed, you actually start feeling better about yourself. The monster will get fed, but not directly.
And my topic is very similar to that, and that's earning respect. Because when you are focus driven on success for your personal self-worth, you move the value from what your students are doing to what you're doing. And then you're going to take on so much more responsibility when instead of giving your kids responsibility, you're assuming. And then you go out and do some of the things we've talked about. You go out and overcoach, you demand things, you expect them. It just doesn't work that way. And so one of the things I love is when you build a culture, you're building respect for you as well as you respecting your players. And if you don't have that respectful nature, that's when problems occur. Kids generally will find ways to try to find chinks in your armor, and then they're going to expose you for whatever weaknesses you have. Whereas if you earn respect, they're going to look for you, all your positive traits, and value you, which means they're going to listen to you with a lot more sincerity than a coach who has little or no respect, and they're just rolling their eyes internally or externally.
Yes. And my second one is, a lot of coaches have forgotten what it's like to be a teenager. And so there's this strange culture of, well, I had to do it. We had horrible coaches who tortured us. So and so I'm just paying it forward. All the negativity that I hated when I was a kid. So instead of transferring forward the stuff you didn't like, stop and think and go, wait a minute, I didn't think it was really a productive thing to be made to run if I made a mistake, right? Or to do 100 push-ups or to be punishing with exercise, I think is one of those bad things that people do because because there are different ways to do that. I think one thing that my players would least like to do is actually be pulled aside and have a very slow conversation with me about important things that are happening, and I'll I can twist the knife that way. but yeah, think about your own high school life and what was most fun for you, what made you really want to go, who were the teachers and coaches that motivated you a lot, or look for coaches that you would like to be like, and hopefully Dave and I are 2 of those people, and do that stuff. And then, then when kids are surprised when, oh yeah, we've kind of been screwing around today, but we still get to play a game at the end, because you're not always punitive about every little thing, and you don't punish the whole group for the actions of one or a few.
Good point.
That is one of the worst things coaches and teachers do, is when they punish an entire group for the actions of one or a few, because you can surgically deal with those people.
Absolutely. That's a great, probably one of the most important things we've talked about is that concept of penalization. I've been blessed because I think it's either my approach or my expectation that I don't run into a lot of problems. Maybe I just have had great luck with great kids, but for the most part, I think the communication and all that, those aspects. And
I think it's I think it's because you're scary, Dave.
Well, you look at me, it's no doubt. I mean, look at this. Okay. No, my second one is kind of twofold. I just retired last year, and I will say, anytime there's a change in coaching, you have different philosophy, whatever. But the one thing the parents and the players that I coached for either 1, 2, or 3 years before I retired was this new coach, A, is not consistent, and B, chooses players subjectively to represent the team rather than objectively through some of the things we talk about, earning their position, earning how hard they work, and all those other aspects. They chose either favorites, or they had a conflict of interest because they're a pro at a club, so they're favoring kids that may go to that club. If you're going to coach a team, you're coaching the team. You're not just coaching. If you're a high school coach, you're coaching the varsity, JV, JV2, frost, whatever, however you label your team. And I've seen these new coaches at other schools as well. They've even told the parents during the parent meeting, I'm only concerned with the top 7 or the top 10 kids. Where's my interest in playing for that coach if I'm number 12 or 15 or 27 or 50? There's no value to me because the coach is not valuing my contribution. So consistency, meaning not showing favoritism, not being subjective in making those decisions, and making sure you are giving every kid an equal sense of value. And you will be surprised how many of those kids end up becoming some of your top players that you never anticipated because you gave them inspiration, time, value, and incentive. If you don't give them those 4 things I just named, they're not going to work to achieve.
Yeah. Well, and that was really sneaky, making yours twofold, because then you got an extra one in there.
I know.
So that's good. Yeah, good job. Good
job.
My next one is going to be like threefold. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. All right. Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap. Ready? Go.